Hey everybody. How is everybody? Welcome to another weekly WIP. I'm sorry, I surprised myself a little bit there. I don't know why. I feel like it's been forever since I got to talk to you guys, so I'm really excited. I've had a lot of action with the works in progress. I've had some finished objects. Not to get off on a tangent, but on a side note, there is nothing like boosting like your finished object confidence more than doing little tiny projects, which is what I spent the last couple weeks doing. So I think the best place, or the best, most, it would make the most sense to start with the objects that you don't see but are finished. Okay, now that I've got myself together, the finished objects were all for a baby shower, and they were a pair of pink booties. It was the beloved hat, which I know I've showed on a previous video. That was finished. And then it was the little hat I made with the baubles to match the bigger hat I made around Christmas time. The person I made that bigger hat for with the poof and the baubles was having a baby, so I made a little baby hat to match it. I went back and forth with whether or not I should put a poof on the hat, and points were made on Instagram on both sides of the debate, but ultimately I left the poof off because of concerns with fitting in car seats, and I just want to make sure that the hat is safe and functional. I'm done those gifts. They came out really nice. I'm happy with them. I'm going to show you pictures what I did to try to zhuzh up the gifts. I bought some outfits, and then I put the hat and the booties all in the same package, so when the recipient opened it up, it had little dress, little onesie with little hat and booty. So it really looked aesthetically pleasing. And it just brings me to my first point with the little tiny finished objects is it doesn't always have to be a showstopper. It can be a smaller project if you know how to gift or present the smaller finished objects. It's handmade and you thought of the person and it's meaningful for them, so they should be very grateful for any gift. But even with the smaller little tokens of affection, if you present it the right way, it's gonna look beautiful and gorgeous, no matter whether it's a pair of booties or whether or not it's a giant Afghan. So I'll show some pictures, or I'll have my producer put some pictures up so you can see how they looked with the actual gift. So those were my tiny finished projects. I'm also very excited, but this has been years in the making. 5 years of anticipation and nerves and drama, and I am proud to say that I finally finished my first pair of socks. I feel so good. It was, I picked, I think, the best pattern for a beginner sock person, although I'm not really a beginner knitter. This is the second time I tried to complete socks, and I think because it's knit up in DK weight, it was very easy from start to finish. The pattern I used was the Sisters United Socks. It is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter at Boyland Knitworks. Here is the sock. I know it doesn't look as, I haven't blocked it yet, so doesn't have that smooth, polished, finished look yet. So I'm actually gonna use my sock blockers and block these puppies out tonight. The yarn I used was Brooklyn Tweed Ranch, and there was absolutely no drama in knitting these socks. Like, there's nothing I can really say negative. I think if you're experienced as a knitter and you're experienced with, they use German short rows for heel shaping, you're not gonna have a problem. So I mean, the skills needed would be the short row shaping, excuse me. There's stranded color work, and then there's the Kitchener stitch to graft together the toes. But these were really smooth sailing. It took me over the course of, I think, like 2 weekends just of semi-relaxing knitting. We had a little bit of drama with, I should have sized up with the needles for the actual foot part, but I felt like initially it looked too big because my daughter's feet are so tiny. I should have upsized my needle. I didn't. Lesson learned for the second sock. I knit loosely, like conscientiously loosely as I was going around. But very excited that these are finished. My first pair of socks are done, officially completed. So I kept my promise, kept a knitting resolution for 2021, and I can now dive into my book of sock patterns and pick another pair of socks out to knit with fingering weight or sock weight yarn, which is the more traditional, which will be a little less warm than these, but might look a little more delicate depending on the pattern I choose. Really, I just have a bunch of sock weight yarns and I don't have enough to do a big project, but I may have enough to pop out a pair of socks. So we'll see what's next. Actually, these socks might be Christmas gifts for next year. I might dive back into this pattern and just knit out a couple more pairs because it really was easy. They feel like they're really warm, and I think once I block them, Brooklyn tweed is notorious for getting really soft once they're blocked, and it's great yarn to use, and I have some extra laying around. So this, seriously, when I get into my holiday knitting gift catalog idea, this is high on my list. So my next WIP, probably should have gotten a little more further into, but we're no judgments. This is a safe zone. This is a knitting safe zone here. We don't stress. We say yes, but I can't even steal that because that's a Stephen West saying, but it's a good saying, so I use it all the time. Okay, so this is my cabled tennis sweater. I have made some progress on it, so it's not like I've been totally slacking. And to be honest with you, it's really straightforward. It's just very monotonous. So if you have knitting ADD like me, you'll maybe do one of the repeats with the cables and you're like, oh, all right, let me dive into these socks, or let me do this, or I'm falling asleep. It's a great pattern. Yes, there's cabling, so there's some skill involved, but it's pretty basic the way it's laid out. You're just repeating the same 6 rows over and over again. This is the back that I'm knitting. Then after I'm done with the back, I will knit the front, and then, so you knit it in 2 pieces. I probably should have started with that. And then you'll knit together the vest neck part. So this is one of those things where, you know, there will be more progress on it, but this is where we are for now. And then that's technically the end of my weekly WIPs, but I brought something out of hibernation and I just want to show it. Dun 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 dun. Sorry, that's my bad Jaws impersonation. I know it's a controversial project for some of my family members. They don't really like it as much as me, but here's my Westfjords Wanderer shawl. Now that I have gotten all my little tiny projects out of the way, I really do intend on diving back into this. So the progress for this week was just pulling it out of the closet. Now that it's out, I intend to make some progress on it. So I'm excited, and that's where we're at. It's been, I feel like, a productive couple of weeks. It'll probably slow down a little bit because I really do want to get this tennis vest out of the way. There are 2 more gift projects that I want to start to knit for people, and then I want to really get to my shawl. I feel like there's always an abundance of things I want to knit, and it comes down to whatever I have the time to knit. I hope you're enjoying whatever projects you're knitting at this point in time. I hope you are safe, healthy, and well. And most importantly,